Welcome back to another episode of the Laces Out podcast. Here with me is, of course, my other co-host, Waterboy. Sadly, J-Bunk is not here today, feeling under the weather, so hopefully he feels better for in time for the next week's podcast. We do this every single week. Usually we like to upload on Fridays, but hey, tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to you, Waterboy. How's it going, man?
Merry Christmas to you, man. It's doing good. Just getting ready for the family and friends, and just a good time to celebrate.
Of
How are
course,
you
of course.
doing?
Busy, man. Busy with work, and then obviously, just trying to get together everything for all of the sides of my family I have. Obviously, got the wife's side, and then I have to go to my mom's side and my dad's side. So still got a lot of traveling to go to. So excited though. So yeah, I'm ready. But what I'm really ready for is this week 16 football week, man. I guess we can go back and talk a little bit about week 15, what had happened. Any highlights or any players that stand out to you in week 15?
Ooh, definitely can't overlook Mr. JT 28 up in Indy.
Yeah.
Just running bonkers on the Patriots last week. I mean, he's toting them to the front on his back, literally.
Yeah. And it's crazy because the Patriots were undefeated on the road going into Indianapolis. I know I highlighted that last week in last week's podcast. And now looking back, and the Colts giving the Patriots their first road loss. So, wow. I mean, are the Colts the real deal now?
Well, I don't know about that, but Mr. Taylor is for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what was Wentz, like 5 of 12 for? Oh shit, I forget. He was 57 yards, 5 of 12 for 57 yards. That's kind of sad out of a starting quarterback not. So the Colts.
I'm gonna stop you right here, Waterboy, because you're choppy. You're choppy. Hold on. Let's see if we can get back your microphone kind of closer. I don't know. For some reason, you went robot on me. There you go.
You better now?
That's better. Let's see what you're talking about, JT.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's pretty good. I mean, like you said, the Patriots are undefeated on the road, and the Colts, it was more of the course their defense. I mean, they had the Patriots on their heels to the fourth quarter and let them get back in there. And Mr. Taylor just killed them right there at the 2-minute mark with a big run and made them look out and, trying to climb the rankings of the AFC that the Chiefs currently hold the number 1 spot in home field advantage.
Yeah, and also, even though the Patriots lost, I know if anyone had this guy on their fantasy football teams, especially in the position that you don't expect a lot of points out of this player, and that's Hunter Henry, man. 2 touchdowns, 77 yards, unreal performance last Saturday in Indianapolis. Even though they did get the loss, obviously in that game, you were either wanting Jonathan Taylor to go off like he did, or Hunter Henry, man. Hunter Henry is just he's just that guy. I mean, for the touchdowns, Mac Jones looks for him all the time. So, shout out to Hunter Henry. Definitely, I'm pretty sure put a lot of people over the edge in getting some wins in fantasy football, especially playoff time. But I guess for me, the one game I kind of want to highlight that, it wasn't really a game that I think everyone thought it was going to go the opposite way, and that's the Cardinals versus the Lions in Detroit. The Lions, with their terrible record, they were 1-11 before going into that game against a great team, the Arizona Cardinals, and they beat them 30-12. So I didn't really watch that game, but I kept on checking my phone on it. I was like, is this right? I'm not sure, if it's supposed to be flip-flopped. I'm like, is ESPN making a mistake? But somehow the Lions got it done at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Did you watch any of that game?
No, man, just about like you, I didn't think there would be anything of it to watch. I think, the Cardinals are, hey, an early shout out to the Bull Rush
Yeah.
was saying how the Cardinals were undefeated on the road this year, and going to Detroit, you thought it would have been a cakewalk. And it just didn't turn into it. I think my man Murray ended up with the interception and a fumble. Not like him, and Goff on the other side with 3 touchdowns. And you got to think about this practice squad player coming on with all the COVID issues and injuries. Craig Reynolds topping 100 yards. Averaging just a click over 4 yards a carry. I mean, not bad from practice squad to running against one of the more stingier run defenses in the league.
Yeah, I agree. And a couple other games I'll just touch up on. Packers and Ravens. That game went down to the wire. Packers did hold on though, 31-30. So that was a little bit closer game than what I expected, especially with Huntley at the QB position. So I was kind of surprised, but Mark Andrews, 2 touchdowns, 136 yards, another tight end you wanted on your fantasy football team last week if you were in the playoffs trying to make semis or something. Yeah, that is one of those players that just popped off for fantasy. But on another game that didn't see really much action at all, Saints at Bucks, and the Bucks dropped the donut last week against the New Orleans Saints, and the Saints were just out to get Brady. They got him, and usually you can't be doing this to Brady without Brady having somehow a comeback at the end or something, but we did not see a comeback at the end. We just saw the Saints win 9-0. I mean, obviously not the best offense either on their side, but either way, they did secure the victory in the NFC South Division rivalry game. So that was a really kind of interesting game that I was not expecting to see that low scoring of a game. I don't think anyone did, especially with Tom Brady being the quarterback for the Bucks. Any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what was that? I think they had 4 sacks of Brady. One of his lone shutouts of his distinguished career. I mean, it's keeping New Orleans in the playoff hunt. And they're, who knows? Maybe their defense is keeping them in. That's all they had going. I mean, Taysom Hill, he's a better quarterback than you and I, but I don't. He's not capable of leading the NFL team at this point. I do not believe, but definitely surprising. I mean. And not to mention Dennis Allen. I mean, Sean Payton's on the sidelines with COVID himself. Dennis Allen comes in and schemes a master defensive plan to take out the Buccaneers. But also, there were some injuries with Godwin and Fournette going out. So there was a lot of things going their way. But, I mean, when you hold Brady to 0, I mean, that's strong itself without a doubt.
I mean, just hats off to the Saints defense, and they got that pass rush, and obviously Tom Brady saw it. Not many teams, like you said, in Tom Brady's career has ever done that. So hats off to the Saints on that. But it's just a crazy season. I've been talking to I've been tweeting this out saying like this is one of the craziest fantasy football seasons, and also just season in general with all the COVID protocols going on. Everyone's, I feel like each week there's at least 50 to 60 players in the NFL that it's out, but also within that same week, some of them can still play if they pass a couple tests, and then some of them can't. Like, it's just, I never have seen where you have to really pay attention this hard on the waiver wire, especially in playoff, especially in playoffs. Right now, this is the most intense part, especially if you are competing for, the big prize, even just feeling good about yourself. What are your thoughts on this waiver wire, like madness? It's just nonstop.
Oh, man. It is definitely nonstop. I mean, they keep coming, and, luckily for our league, we've been forethought enough. I've seen some people complaining out there on the line that we need COVID spots, and luckily we were forethought enough to have us an extra slot for a COVID precaution, but it's you got to be on the waiver wire. I mean,
yep.
You never know who, like I just, stated Craig Williams or Craig Reynolds earlier. I mean, he, with COVID and injuries, again, a practice squad player that is handling, 90% of the backfield touches. I mean, who would have thought you would want to be playing him in the playoffs? I mean, his parents didn't think so, probably.
No, not at all. I mean, maybe they drafted him in their fantasy football team just as a loving gesture. Probably wasn't happy with that pick, but now I'm sure they're really happy. They still stashed him on their bench, and look, if they're in playoff potential, they have a shot of winning the championship.
But, for sure, man. And they're dropping like flies today.
Yes.
Cook is out. MVS is out. Hill's out, which he was already not too sporty anyway. So you've got to pay attention almost up to game time for sure right now. I don't know what's causing it, but they're coming on strong.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's get into Week 16. We're here. Tonight, there's a football game going on. It's going to be the 49ers at Tennessee, and Tennessee Titans are going to be hosting the 49ers. So, what are your thoughts on this game tonight? For me, I think the Titans are going to win this, but the 49ers have been playing actually pretty well as of recent.
The 49ers have been playing good. I mean, they played the Falcons last week, which is not a lot to brag about, but
kind of like a practice game,
A practice game for sure, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, can Garoppolo go on the road? I'm not going to say a harsh environment, but I mean, Tennessee, I think they're around 29th in the league, on their pass defense. The struggles they've been having with keeping a running back healthy over there. I mean, it's going to be Jeff Wilson probably playing again since Mitchell's out, so that's going to be tough. But, I mean, I'm going to put it all on the Titans defense because with King Henry out, Tannehill has definitely not been what he's been doing. But also you've had Julio Jones out, A.J. Brown out. Brown's coming back this week. I don't see, at the end of the day, I don't even see it's a game worth watching. It's, tune the radio into something else and do something, just kind of maybe every hour, just kind of do a little quick check to see if anything's good cooking over there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, if you did get lucky enough to get Deontay Foreman on your team, that's a guy who I would, have stand out. But, for Tennessee, like you said, they're really thin. They are really thin, and, they couldn't get it done last week against the Steelers, who, doesn't have the best run stop. So, it's going to be tough to see if they can hold one out. But I don't know. Like you said, I think it comes down to the Titans defense. And we've seen them in the past really stand out some games, not all of them. So we'll see on that. The Garoppolo definitely has to come in, but another fantasy football guy player who's probably got you to the playoffs as well as Deebo Samuel. You got to look out for Deebo for sure in tonight's game.
He's definitely. I think he's got 6 rushing touchdowns.
He's seriously the running back now.
Yeah, he is. I said Jeff Wilson earlier. Maybe I should have said Deebo.
Should have said Deebo.
Yeah, he's definitely been, he's been playing strong kind of out of, I don't want to say nowhere, but because he's been doing it all season long. So, maybe it's a George Kittle game. He's definitely been on a rip since he's come back from his injury. So, but I don't know, man. I'm going to go with the Titans on this. I just don't see the 49ers being able to do it. It's not, shouldn't be a high-scoring game, so one of the, 14-17, 17-21 kind of outcomes. So, you just hope whoever you pick is going to have a touchdown. That's what you're shooting for.
Cool little stat that I just saw. The 49ers are 5-2 on the road, and the Titans are actually 5-2 as well at home. So 2 5-2 records going from home and away. So I think it might be a decent game. Both of them play well in their situations. 49ers play well on the road. Titans play well at home. We'll see who can come out with a victory. But there's a few other games this week that I really want to target. Indianapolis at Arizona is one. Obviously, we talked about Jonathan Taylor about last week, how he's basically unstoppable. No one's really stopping him, no matter who the defense is. So the Cardinals have a good defense. Will that be able to stop Jonathan Taylor? I don't think so. Jonathan Taylor is just going to get his like always. But who do you see winning this game? Because the Cardinals only 3-3 at home, really not playing well as of recent. What are your thoughts with the Cardinals, man?
Not a lot of thoughts on the Cardinals. I mean, I can attribute some of it to me getting traded Kyler Murray and him just getting dejected to be on my team and letting everyone down. He's not been, he had the good game the other week in the weather at Chicago with his 4 touchdowns. But other than that, man, he's not been doing a whole heck of a lot since his injury. I'm going to go with, I'm going to say the Colts are going to make them 3-4 at home and go on the road with Mr. Taylor and just clean their clock. Connor might not be available for the Cardinals.
Right.
Maybe Pittman won't get no fist fights this week and stay in the game and maybe help Mr. Wentz out. So, we'll see. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I just another Jonathan Taylor game. I mean, no other way to look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it also comes down. I don't agree with who you think is going to win. I do think the Cardinals are going to win this game, but I think it also comes down to Kyler Murray. Like we said, I have him also on one of my fantasy teams. I got him in another league. I'm actually in playoffs, and I really need him to perform. And I've been looking, and the Colts secondary has not been playing well this whole season. So I'm really hoping Kyler Murray can figure it out this game against, not the best secondary. Because if he's gonna do something, it's got to be against this Colts team. And if not, I think you're right. I think Jonathan Taylor will run all over him. So I think it comes down to Kyler. If he can get a little bit of time to be able to scramble, throw the ball, and just kind of outscore. But I don't know. The Cardinals right now just have not looked good as of recent. And the Colts have, with Jonathan Taylor just doing his thing, especially as of recent. Jonathan Taylor at the beginning of the season kind of had a slow start. So now toward the end, he's finally getting his break. He's scoring touchdowns, and right now it's going to be hard to stop him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got a touchdown, in 11 straight, I think, or 12 straight.
Wow. See, that's what I'm saying, though. But the first 4 weeks was a little rough. Like, I feel like when I don't have his stats pulled up right now, but I'm sure you could look at it, and his first few weeks were kind of underwhelming. Jonathan Taylor was one of those guys at the draft that everyone said he's the next CMC. He's the next CMC. Well, first few weeks we didn't see that, and now we are seeing he is putting up those CMC numbers that we've seen CMC do in the past. So Jonathan Taylor's there, and I think it's just the battle between Kyler Murray and Jonathan Taylor. Who's going to do it? We'll find out. But any games that you want to highlight? I have one more, but actually 2 more. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and pick a game.
He didn't have a touchdown the first 3 weeks of the season at all.
Yeah.
And ever since, he's 12 in a row, going on 14 in a row with 1 or more touchdowns.
Jeez, he's rolling, man.
That's pretty. I'm going to go, man. I'm going to kind of stay in the AFC. I'm going to roll to the AFC East over there for the fight for the number 1 spot. The Bills traveling to New England.
I like that one. That was one of mine. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
In good weather conditions, are the Bills going to try to run it down their throat with Singletary? I mean, they finally starting to get a little. I think last week they had their highest rushing output, non-Josh Allen, with 86 yards for Singletary. So, are they going to try to play ball control and beat them out of their own game in their house, or is Belichick going to stay on top of them? They're still they still know Damian Harris. Stevenson, he's been absent from practice this week, so he might not have that advantage to keep the ball on the ground. He might have to try to put it on Mac Jones and see what he can do with them. And then when the going back to the Bills with Sanders out, Beasley out on COVID, it's Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. I mean, he showed out last week with 2 scores.
Yeah, and that's what you got to look for is those guys in the back, like someone like Gabriel Davis, and you haven't heard that name this whole season, and now it's because of someone like Beasley's out. I mean, you gotta make some changes, and who's the next guy in line is Gabriel Davis, and it looks like he can fill his role.
Dawson Knox, he's been dropping a bunch of passes lately.
Yeah,
he's not been reliable. And earlier when you were speaking about Hunter Henry, did you know he leads the league in touchdown receptions for tight ends at 9 this year with his 2 touchdown game last week?
Wow. See, Hunter Henry's coming in clutch, and he's one of those guys who's touchdown dependent, but he's been doing it. So, I mean, if he's dependent on touchdowns and he's scoring them all the time, then I'm okay with that.
So, yeah, definitely.
But going back to the last time the Bills and Patriots played each other, it was just a terrible weather game. I think Belichick was ready for that. And now the Bills should be able to use all of their weapons, as in throwing the ball now. They're not going to be seeing, some ridiculous weather. I don't think so. Didn't really check the weather. Right now it's showing 40 degrees over there at Foxborough. And I'm pretty sure the wind's going to be all right. So we'll see. But I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive here in this week's Bills-Patriots matchup. And like you said, they are battling for that number 1 spot. So, yeah, I'm excited to see that game for sure. The game that I wanted to highlight as well is the Ravens-Bengals. And they have the same record, same actually road and home records. The Ravens have a 3-4 away, and the Bengals have a 3-4 home. So, who is going to take over that game? Obviously, Joe Burrow is going to have to do the ball. He's going to have to get the job done in the air. Probably the Jamar Chase is what I'm sure Bengals fans are hoping, and fantasy fans as well. But yeah, Mixon's kind of been struggling. Ravens have a really good run stop, so I'm not really expecting him to do much. But yeah, I think if the Bengals want to win this game, they have to air it out and have that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow combo. But other than that, if they can't find that, I don't know. I think the Ravens could pull away with that win. What are your thoughts on that game?
So it's going to be Burrow and Chase. I mean, we got Mixon injured. Maybe Perrine will come in and play. I don't know, man. It's going to be a drag out. The question is it going to be Jackson or Huntley on the other side of the ball?
Right.
I mean, as bad as it is to say, Huntley, he has actually been playing, but he's actually putting up better stats than Jackson had been putting up. So I would say, man, I'm looking at the Ravens going to maybe steal one on the road here. I mean, it's definitely a conference game. I mean, maybe the Bengals will come out firing. I seen, who's the coordinator for the Ravens? Martindale saying, we're not going to have to cover Chase like we done Adams last week with 2 and 3 men on him. So maybe that'll give him a little bit of edge. I mean, hell, he had over 100 yards in their first meeting this season and a touchdown. So
I'd like to highlight that. I'd like to highlight that because you know why? Marlon Humphreys was even guarding him, and he still made Marlon Humphreys look terrible. Because I remember going back to the podcast whenever they were matching up the first time, and I said Marlon Humphreys is going to lock down Jamar Chase. He's been doing it all year, and then right when I said that, I don't know if it was a curse as soon as I said that, but now Marlon Humphreys couldn't guard anything. Now he's out, so not even a Marlon Humphreys on the field. So I think Jamar Chase could do it again. I mean, if he could do it to one of the best corners in the league, why not? And especially if, like you said, if they're not going to need a double coverage him, I think that's ludicrous. I think that's just crazy. Jamar Chase he's been popping off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on the other side, I mean, Devontae Freeman was actually starting to get a stranglehold on the backfield back there. And last week, for whatever, they decided to mix it up with Latavius Murray. It's like, but why are you doing that? Why are you messing with the scheme that's actually been producing solid results? It doesn't make sense to me. And I mean, Cincinnati's near the top 10 in the league against the run. So, earlier I think it's going to be a Huntley and Burrow show maybe.
Okay. Any other games you want to talk about before we talk about a couple players that we think might boom or bust?
Yeah, might as well, just because I want to poke Bobby a little bit if he ever listens, is the Dolphins and Saints.
Okay.
Just because heels out, you're going to have a gentleman, Ian Brook. We're back in the Saints this week against the Dolphins' tenacious defense here lately.
Yeah.
Just probably, again, not in for a good game. He's, with Duke Johnson last week had his career game, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. So probably not going to be a lot going on there coming up against the stout Saints defense. And this could be another 9-0 game in favor of the Dolphins this time. I mean, this definitely, I'm not saying bet the farm on the under, but keep the key in your hand, because it might be it's going to be a drug out game.
The over under.
I'm looking. It's got a total of 38.5 points.
I'm looking at a 37.5. So it must be it might be still going down.
They're listening.
So if you're taking the under, buy now if you can get the 38.5. And they're favoring Miami by 1.5 points. So I actually think that game could be real low scoring, all defense. Just if you like the defensive games, obviously watch it. But oh man, for excitement as a fan, you want to see, especially as a fantasy owner, or you want to watch that. Unless you have the Dolphins or the Saints as your defense. I do have Dolphins in one of my leagues, so I'm kind of hoping they shut out the Saints maybe and give them a taste of their own medicine that they did to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I don't know, man.
I can see that. That's what I see.
They've been playing well.
Who?
The Dolphins. The Dolphins defense have been playing well as of recent.
Oh, they've been playing well, and actually this is the weekend you remember well that Kamara had 6 touchdowns last season. Yeah. It's going to be a reverse of fortune for the Saints this week. I'm going to kind of throw something out there. I'm going to go with at least 2 pick sixes for the Dolphins this week.
Oh, snap. Okay. With the new quarterback going to be under center for the Saints, he's going to throw 2 pick sixes, probably be his last start of his career. Oh man, just kidding. There's been too many quarterbacks that I keep seeing in the league still that I'm like, he still plays after that one performance. I don't know about that one.
You talking about Nathan Peterman?
Yeah, 10-pick Peterman is what we call him.
Nathan Peterman. He's the one. He come out. I remember he had 6 interceptions in his first start. So.
Yeah, 6-pick Peterman. That's what we call him. That's what I meant. But yes, hey man, you love to grill and use the smoker and stuff. So I'm curious, what are you doing this weekend on the grill or on the smoker?
Man, we're gonna have a smorgasbord this weekend. We're starting off tonight. We're gonna do 2 ends of the spectrum here. We're gonna smoke a beef tenderloin and smoke bologna. The same kind of meat's what I'm told.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we're gonna load it up with some butts, and we're gonna do some briskets and some jerk chicken.
Oh wow!
So
doing everything.
We're doing it all, man. Doing it all. Might even gonna go a little bit off the cuff here. I've got some apples and cranberries. I thought about mixing them up and kind of making like a little smoked apple cranberry dish to go on the side with the barbecue, something, give it a little zip and a tang on the sidelines.
Man, so I'm curious because if you're having this just for like a week 16 game that no one really cares about it unless you're you're in playoffs or what's going to be the NFL playoffs like or possibly Super Bowl? Is this going to be like an unheard of feast? Thanksgiving part 2?
Yeah, I think it will be. We will probably go really rogue then. Maybe do like a couple legs of lamb, maybe something like that. Maybe some blackened salmon. We're gonna we don't discriminate over here.
We'll ask again whenever we get into the playoffs because we're gonna try to do the Laces Out podcast all the way to the Super Bowl. Obviously, hoping we can keep the streak alive this season. So far, we've been well. We've hit 16 episodes in a row, so I'm really excited that we got the consistency going. Even though not all the time, not everyone can be here, which is okay. Obviously, things happen, and like I said, hopefully Bunk feels better by next week. I hate that people are now getting sick like 2 days before Christmas, man. It was really a bummer, especially in our fantasy football league. We see a lot of players going out too, and you just hate it for their personal lives as well, not just on the field. So I hope everyone can stay safe and out there, but also if you want to take some notes, I'm an amateur griller. I love to grill. I make some decent chicken and some wings and stuff, but definitely not the expert like Waterboy is. So I think from now on we're gonna ask you, Waterboy, each week, what are you cooking up for us? We need to know.
Okay.
We need our mouths to water every time we listen to the Laces Out podcast. We'll have a segment for you each week.
I'll work on that to have a good little something for you folks next week.
Maybe eventually you have your face reveal. You have maybe an apron on. You're grilling. Smoking. You're doing it all. Maybe we can have that happen one day.
Sounds good to me. I'm no expert. The cool beers help it taste better the later we get. So that's my key ingredient. Feed them beer, they'll love it.
I got you. Well, let me give a shout out to the Fantasy Football Bull Rush. Like I said, I'll leave the link down low. We gave them a shout out a little bit before. Their articles are great information if you want the edge in your fantasy football experience. And also just a little bit more if you want, other than just the Laces Out podcast. Sometimes we like to shoot the shit here. So if you want to get a little bit more intense, go ahead and check out their articles. Fantasy Football Bull Rush. Like I said, link is in the description. Anything else before we call it a show, Waterboy?
Oh, nah, man. Just, keep it simple, man. Enjoy your weekend with your family, friends, associate. Just enjoy it. Make some memories. Good times, good laughs. Don't get mad at your drunk uncle wanting to talk about something. Enjoy it because he might not be here next Christmas.
That's very true. That's very true. Wise words right there from the Water Boys. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully with Bunk back on. See you guys later. Good luck to everyone else in their fantasy football league, except for who I'm playing in some other leagues. I don't know. Screw you guys. I hope you lose to me. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
See y'all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.